is OffPlanet Radio.
Welcome to another dimension, a dimension of insight, a dimension of understanding. You are entering the place where reality collides with truth. There are no limits, there are no boundaries. This is OffPlanet Radio.
Welcome to OffPlanet Radio. I'm Randy Maugans. Here we are in July, and I have a great show lined up for you tonight. I actually have several people on the line with me. My guest tonight comes to us from Winnipeg, Manitoba, Canada. Is Chris Keller. He is a quantum energy practitioner who specializes in the problematic areas of the body and the stressors. He spent 30 years in the printing and newspaper industry, retired in 2007, and doors opened for him that led him into the world of energy healing. He deals in a number of different modalities. Some I'm familiar with, some not so much. I'm kind of familiar with radionics, and I'm familiar with dowsing and working with crystals. And so there's a number of different things that are going on. We love doing shows about alternative, I don't even like the term alternative. Scratch that. This is about healing. When they start labeling things alternative, that's just like, this is not second best. This is the real deal. This is healing. And with that, before I talk myself into another rabbit trail, I want to introduce to the audience Chris Keller. Good evening and welcome to OffPlanet Radio.
Hey, Randy. Nice to meet you. Thanks for having me on.
Hey, it's great to have you on. It's funny. Before Hayden ever crossed my path, and I'll just, say props to Hayden. He gets executive producer credit for the show tonight. He is the foot soldier for Chris, I guess, kind of the PR guy. But before I ever crossed paths with Hayden, I had actually seen one of your YouTube videos at one point, and you were talking about aliens and UFOs, and I'm going, oh, right, this is somebody I should talk to. And providentially, universe lined things up, and here you are.
Here I am, and yeah, you're absolutely right. I do talk a lot about the whole alien aspect about health problems. Now, the work that I do is basically finding the root cause of anybody's health problem. It doesn't matter what you have, if it's acne, if it's cancer, if it's hemorrhoids, whatever it is, any kind of emotional problems, mental problems, soul problems, no matter what it is, what I do is I find the root cause. And what I've found within my work is trying to find all these answers in my quest with working with quantum energy and working with spirit guides and working with all of the energies available to us from the Creator, from God, from the universe, is that I was fed a lot of energy or a lot of information that aliens, Zeta Reticuli and reptilians and archons and various other ones do have a very big influence on our health problems.
Absolutely. I mean, anybody, okay, for this audience, this will not come as a surprise. Yes, this is a huge issue. To mainstream audiences, this may seem bizarre. I mean, I've had my fair share of encounters with these entities, and I think a lot of my audience has as well. But it's definitely not exactly the everyday encounter that somebody's going to have with their healing practitioner. Chris, I got to ask you this up front. How did you come to understand this? How did you come to accept the fact that we are dealing with ETs, aliens, non-human, sometimes non-local beings?
The way it really got started is when I started in this work of healing with energies and quantum energies and psychic energies. I did meet somebody who is my toolmaker in Alberta, Canada. His name is Wayne Gatos, and he is probably one of the highest people in energy on the planet. His main job is to run current into the earth grid to remove all the negativity, all of the alien aspects, so the earth can go through the ascension process. And he deals a lot with moving out ET and aliens and all these different consciousness, all these different multi-dimensional type of species. So he's given me a leg up and told me a lot about them, what to expect and how to work with them. And then after learning that from him, my pendulum and my guides, they took me to many steps farther, deeper down the rabbit hole, if you will, as to number one, identifying exactly what these critters are and how to get rid of them.
And, when we encounter this type of thing, we're dealing with something that's interfering with our energetic field, no matter whether the encounters are what you would call a classic abduction scenario, or some people call them contacts, but we're dealing with beings that have the ability to interact with us on the quantum level, as you put it, in a way that, unfortunately, certainly the Western mind, the modern Western mind, still doesn't dignify the fact that we are not just this physical meat sack body, but in fact a larger part of us is this quantum energy field that's around us. So in dealing with healing people at that level, I imagine that what you're encountering is the ability to read what is going on in the energetic field of a person.
That's absolutely correct. When I work on somebody, I consider many bodies of energy within us. There's a lot of modalities like Reiki, quantum touch. There's different aspects of healing. I consider maybe 4, 8, or 10 bodies. I consider about 60 different bodies, and the ET will consider certain bodies. They work really good in what's called the holographic body. It's been said that everything around us, or everything in life right now, is a hologram. Well, we have this body within us. It's called the holographic body, and it's kind of like a movie theater. So if an ET wants to put a program in there and keep that program running, it could mean that we keep on repeating the same thing over and over again. Okay, and they can cause a lot of turmoil and trouble in our lives by doing that. There's also the causal body, which is a blueprint of our body within our aura. Now, our physical body, our density, reads off of that causal body. And to best describe exactly what it's all about, we've all heard about phantom pain. Okay, somebody loses a leg in an accident, and they still have pain in that leg. They still feel the leg is there. That's because that leg still exists in that causal body. So your body is reading off it, so your body still thinks it's there. So when they get into these bodies, the causal body, they can make adjustments. They can put implants. They can do all different types of things to our causal body that will cause an effect within our physical body. So we feel that there's something wrong, but yet you go to a doctor and they're going to look at you and say there's nothing there. So how can nothing be there when you have this pain in your head, when you have this pain in your gut, when you have nausea all the time or dizziness? How can something be there or not be there when you have these symptoms?
Well, and you just went into something here that is a problem with allopathic medicine, in that our traditional approaches to healing have been through the allopathic route, which is largely dealing only with the physicality of a person, almost to the exclusion of anything else. And even on that scale, dealing with the observable, because they're locked into the empirical scientific method. And doctors would, in all likelihood, based on what I know of doctors, and I have a brother who is a surgeon, I would say that their intuitive aspects are trained out of them. They are not trained in intuitive medicine in any way, shape, or form. So we're basically somebody like you is filling a gap here that's not really taken up by any other type of healers in terms of being able to go beyond the physicality of the human.
Yeah, that's exactly it. When you consider a health problem of any sort, again, you have to consider the spiritual, energetic component along with the physical component. A lot of energy healers will focus on the energy component or the spiritual part, and that does a lot of good work, but it still doesn't quite finish the job. So what I do, I'm sure there's lots of other healers that do the same thing, but I focus on both. What is the spiritual aspect? What is the universal, energetic aspect of this problem? Where does it really stem from? Okay, so we clear all that out, and then we start going after the physical, like a parasite, a virus, a bacteria, whatever it may be. So you have to consider both things. There's a lot of things going on right now in the universe, a lot of big changes happening. And on a daily basis now, I'm going up level after level within my guide group and with the energies I'm working with, and I'm getting fed new energies, new thoughts every day. When you're working with healing like this, and you're using a pendulum and charts, and you're trying to identify what is there, all this energy works within a law of the universe called the law of identification. If you identify something, it has to leave. So let's say you're playing hide and seek, and you say 1, 2, 3 on Randy, but it's really 1, 2, 3 on Chris. Chris is not caught. Same thing in the energy realm. Same with entities. Same thing with aliens. Same thing with poltergeists and spirits. If you identify them, they have to go.
You raised something interesting there, Chris. The changes we're going through. I've been talking about this on radio for about 8 years because I knew it was coming a long time ago, and we're in it. And it's called many things. It's called shift. It's called the thinning of the veil, the galactic center. Pick one. But we're in a profound time of extreme change for humanity. And something that I've been getting for a long time now is reports from my listeners, from people that communicate with me, of symptoms of things that are just bizarre sometimes. And even in my own case, I'm a pretty healthy guy. I got very sick last year. Could never quite explain what happened there. But attendant with that was kind of this intensive energetic that has just been streaming onto the planet nonstop for, 4 or 5 years now. Talk about that a little bit.
Well, what's happening right now, and there are a lot of energy changes happening in the planet. The energy is rising. So at one time we used to have a frequency, the Schumann resonance they call it. I think it was 42.5 or something. I can't remember exactly what it was, but now it's going up. The Schumann resonance is rising. So the Schumann. Yeah. So that is rising. Now, what happens when the energy rises within the Earth, it also transmits into us. And as our frequency, our energy rises, the low density energies within us, the dark energies, are shooken out. They're harmonized out of our bodies. And as this happens, they leave knocking things over, if you will, like it's trying to kick somebody out of a party, and they start knocking things off of shelves. Well, that's kind of what's going on within us. Now, I have a good friend in Winnipeg who's a firefighter. He's been doing it about 30 years, and he came to see me last week for an appointment. He says, Chris, in all the years I've been doing this, I have never seen so many suicides in one weekend. The number of suicide rates is going sky high.
Yes.
Okay, that's because people aren't able to handle a lot of the changes that are going on. There's a lot of people who have been in relationships for years and years and years. All of a sudden, you don't resonate anymore with the person you're with, and you end up splitting up, and nobody really understands what's going on. But in small scale of things, that is what's going on, is the energies are changing. A lot of people aren't awakened to know exactly what's going on, and they're reacting in certain ways that is causing disruption in their life. Now, one of the big things that is going on is what I found out today is that, and I think a lot of people have known this, but for me, it's new information. There is a war going on the planet of Saturn. Okay, and it's a Luciferian war. Lucifer is on there; it's his war, and we are all connected to it. I don't know how yet. That's the big thing I wanted to get at is whatever's going on that planet, is happening here. You look at what's happening in the Middle East right now. It's a powder keg. It's ready to go. And that's because of the intensity on Saturn, and it ripples effect right into our planet. So a lot of things going on there. Now, when I do some healing work on people, what I was doing today was I was disconnecting them from Saturn. All of a sudden, their symptoms